Alright, here are my top 8 favorite health metrics to track. And I don't want to be neurotic, but I think it's important to track your health data, track data about everything. So if you are experienced with running a business or doing data science, then you know it very well that data is super important for making decisions, and it's not different with your health either. So the more awareness you have about certain statistics about your body, the more you know it, of course, the better decisions you can make and the better action plan you can come up with. Okay, what needs to be changed and how and in what way, and what is our goal, what is the incentive with that. So I like this saying a lot, that what gets managed or what gets measured gets managed, obviously. But what do you measure and what do you manage and how do you do that is drawing that fine line between being a neurotic health nut and just generally a healthy person who performs at his absolute best. So I want you to be belonging to the latter category. I don't want you to be neurotic about your health and go to this like overly esoteric and weird direction. I think that's going out of trend, and I'm happy about that, because the more obsessed you are about meaningless numbers and meaningless certain processes and minerals that have nothing to do with generally how you feel and how you progress with your fat loss transformation, or for example with your sleep optimization journey, whatever you're aiming for right now. There are certain things that just don't matter, but these esoteric health influencers keep pushing that onto you, or the Huberman types, and so on and so on and so on. And it's very different. Everybody is different, and it's different what is relevant for you. So always track those metrics that are relevant, and I compiled this video for you based on those metrics that worked perfectly for my clients and I. And if you are a high-performing man in your 40s or 50s, you will find this video relevant as well, and you will want to watch this until the end, because this is majority of my clientele and they have found these useful either. So if that worked for them, I assume it would work for you as well, based on my experience with Demi Cycle Protocol and the transformations that we have had so far. So let's get into the top 8 health metrics that we are tracking and how fast and how efficient we can track them. So I don't like to make big promises, but I can promise you that by the end of this video you will be able to track all of these different metrics with the required frequency in less time than what it takes to track calories. You know, I'm an anti-calorie counter. Unfortunately, you can't change me, you can't change my clients either. They're still making amazing progress this way, and the good news about that is we know how to track other health metrics which are much more relevant for you. If you are working a high-performing job, running a business, have a family, and on top of that you are past your so-called prime years, but you can still look, feel, and perform at your prime. So if you are in this situation, you need to track different health metrics, and you need to be less neurotic about the hours that you spend in the gym and the amount of cardio that you're doing and the amount of calories that you're eating, because at the end of the day that's not what really matters. But let's get into the metrics themselves. Okay, number 1 is self-explanatory, it's obvious, it's your body weight. But I do not recommend you to track your body weight every day, because that will turn you into a neurotic health nut, and you don't want to be that, right? So what you want to do is not look at data points, but look at trends. It was very important for me as well as a lesson to learn, not just when I lost more than 50 pounds in less than 6 months without counting calories and while still traveling a lot and drinking alcohol, having fun, you know, enjoying life. I only tracked my body weight weekly, but this type of mindset that look at trends, not data points, it helped me a lot. And why am I so obsessed with health data is I have a background in data science, right? As a data analyst, before I went completely full-time as a health coach and performance coach, right? So I do like statistics, I do like data, but every good or every data scientist of worth knows that not all data is relevant in every business use case, right? So why would you track conversion rate to on an e-commerce store's product page for a product that doesn't even have conversions, doesn't even have visitors? Why the hell would you track conversion rate there, right? So Why the hell would you track your body weight every single day if you know in advance that it fluctuates? Because some days you might eat more sodium, so it will pour more water, so you will have an increased water weight. So that doesn't really indicate how much fat you have gained or lost. You have just gained water or glycogen in your muscles because you got a good pump in, you ate high carbs. But it doesn't mean you got any fatter or slimmer. It just means that, okay, these are minor and temporary changes in your body. So don't be neurotic about it. How we do this with our clients is that every Monday morning, fasted, so before eating or drinking anything, we step on our little scales, we read down the number, we write it down, we register it on a training app, and then it tracks the data for us on a weekly basis. It draws the charts, you don't even have to do the math yourself. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy, and we look at the trend. If it goes towards the direction that we would like it to go, right? If you're about to build some muscle, you know, do a lean bulk and gain some lean muscle, you want to be like a crypto bro, you want it to go up. Of course, not as rapidly as the candle charts on some of these meme coins and altcoins, right? But you would like, or you would prefer it to look like the, let's say, the S&P 500, right? So like slowly and steadily compounding and going up. So this is how you would like your muscle mass to look like. Your body fat, you want it to look like this. Not necessarily a crash, but something like this, more linear. Why? Because the more crash you have, like the more of a restrictive diet or crash diet you're following, the least or the less sustainable it is. And as a result of that, you will burn out, you start eating like crap again, and then you gain all the weight back. So yeah, what's the point of losing fat if you're gaining it back? So we focus on sustainable nutritional practices and habits instead of just giving you a diet plan, which you might be able to be consistent with for 3 or 4 weeks, but then you slack off and everything just comes back onto you. So this is not sustainable. This is not something that you want to kind of like hold on to for the rest of your life. If it is a burden for you, probably that's not the ideal diet for you. Okay, so just remember, the same goes for tracking your body weight. So when it comes to tracking your body weight, you want to make sure that you track it weekly. Monday morning fasted, we call this the moment of truth. Why the moment of truth? Because this is where you see your real body weight. So you haven't drank anything. You have flushed out completely, right? You haven't eaten anything. There's nothing in your stomach, right? And there's exactly 1 week from your last data point, so from your last measurement. So we don't account for the minor fluctuations because in 1 week, something can happen. In 1 week, you might lose 0.4 to 1 pound of body fat, just said something, right? Or half a pound to 1 pound of body fat, completely realistic. You can even lose more. But in 1 day, it's very hard to estimate like exactly how much fat you have lost or gained or how much muscle you have gained, right? And okay, is body fat enough to measure, or sorry, body weight enough to measure as a metric, as a body metric? Well, it's not enough. You want to make sure you are aware of your body fat as well. But you don't have to do that weekly, but I would still look at your body composition. I would take a progress picture in the mirror every single Monday morning, so when the moment of truth comes, you are unpumped, unloaded, right? You're completely fasted. You take a picture from the front, from the side, from the rear, right? And then you just save it. And then you compare and you look at your body composition week by week. But of course, based on that, you can't accurately guesstimate your body fat. So what you want to do is that ideally at the beginning, at the middle, and the end of your transformation, whenever that comes, you do a DEXA scan, because that's the most accurate way of measuring your body fat, your skeletal muscle mass, your water content, and everything else in your body, like which is connected to your body composition, what your body is made of, right? In which areas, for example, how many pounds of muscle are there in your shoulders, whatever. Minor metrics, so that's why I'm saying that you should not do this every week, not even every month, but at the beginning, ideally at the middle and the end of your transformation journey. How else you can measure body fat? There are clippers, they are not so accurate, because keep in mind that the distribution of body fat on your body is not even. It will never be even. So you want to make sure that you avoid clippers as much as you can, but that's a way of measuring body fat as well. Just keep in mind, if you hold on to a little bit more fat in your stomach than in other areas, you can probably expect higher results, higher body fat results around your stomach area if you use clippers, right? What else? There are like special smart scales that you can use for body fat measurement. Will they be accurate? No, they won't be accurate, but if you measure your body fat with them every single week and you're consistent with the same device, you can get a picture of where your body fat is going. And it's very important because your body weight enough won't tell you how much fat you have lost. Because if you're a beginner or like a restarter, or maybe you have never lifted a single dumbbell again, in the beginning you can expect your body weight to kind of like stagnate, right? Because you start losing fat, but at the same time you also start gaining muscle because you started eating a high protein diet, you started following a workout plan, you follow the progressive overload, right? So every single week your training gets a little bit harder, you get stronger, you handle these weight easier, and you get to the point where, okay, you are noticeably stronger, you are noticeably more muscular, right? And at the same time your body fat has went down, but your body weight can still be the same. So that's the difference. So I would definitely keep that in mind. That's why we also measure body fat. Okay, but what else to measure and how? So when we are done with the basic body metrics, instead of going for calories and stuff like that, because that's not a body metric, that's like an everyday metric of food that you have taken in, right? We have talked about calories and protein tracking before. You can check out my previous videos, but if you have any questions connected to that, I will make more videos on that, because I do think that nutrition is numero uno, super important, and without that it wouldn't be possible to have a successful fat loss transformation. But returning to the metrics to track, I would say sleep is super important. So ideally, you want to track your sleep, but not in a way that exactly how many hours you have slept. You want to track that, okay, how deep and how efficient that sleep was. So first of all, you want to track REM sleep, deep sleep, and other sleep metrics. So I will detail this. So how it would look like, dissect it a little bit. REM sleep is indicating how well you process information, how well you will focus the other day, and how fast your brain is recovering. During the REM sleep phase, you experience dreams. The more dreams you remember and the more vivid, the more lucid they are, well, the better and the faster your brain recovers and the faster you process information. Usually you see like 8 to 10 dreams a night, but usually you remember 0 to 2 of them. But if you optimize your REM sleep in a way that you have at least 2 hours of REM sleep per night, you can remember 5 to 6 of those dreams, at least. So what's in it for you? Well, you will perform better at your work, you will be much more sharp, alert, and you will focus much better, and whatever you learn, it will just stick to your brain. You know, your brain will become a sponge with enough REM sleep. By the way, if you happen to be a polyglot or anyone who like speaks a lot of languages, you're much more prone to having high amounts of REM sleep because there is a ton of information for your brain to process meanwhile you are dreaming. So one of the best methods for optimizing your REM sleep is trying to speak multiple languages. Go to a place where, okay, people do not speak your language, so you're forced to kind of like learn their languages and use it on an everyday basis. But this is just a bonus thing. If you're already like a business person who travels a lot, I'm pretty sure you're not foreign, pun intended, to this kind of phenomenon, so you're stimulating your brain enough. Of course, there are other areas, other ways, other methods to increase the amount of REM sleep that you have. We will talk about that in another video, but for you, it's important to remember to measure your REM sleep. What kind of devices can you use for measuring different sleep metrics? It could be a hoop band, it could be an Oura ring, it could be an Apple Watch. I give an Oura ring to each of my clients once they get onboarded to the program. It gets delivered to their address, and because I believe that's the most accurate device for measuring sleep quality, but I'm not affiliated or not endorsed by any brand, so if you prefer a hoop band, use that. If you prefer a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, use that. I'm not biased. I know that these are very efficient and super useful devices. I just do think that the Aura is the most accurate and stands the closest to reading reliable human data, right? And this is how you can also measure your deep sleep, because deep sleep, or the so-called one part of the non-REM sleep, when your body is recovering, when your muscles are recovering, it is very important, because if you're training hard in the gym or at home, whatever, you're doing resistance training, right? Your muscles are facing resistance, so they have to work against it. So as a result of the work, you are nourishing them with proteins, so they will be built up meanwhile you sleep. So that's why deep sleep is super important. I would also recommend spending at least 2 hours in the deep sleep phase at night, and how to optimize that, we could make a video about that as well. So at this point the videos keep making themselves, but deep sleep is very important, and the more deep sleep you have per night, basically the better and faster your muscles are recovering. So this is how you can be basically a natural person on steroids. Like, sleep is one of the best steroids, and not how much you sleep. What really matters is how well you sleep. So for example, Devin, one of my clients, 45 years old, he managed to hit like 92% sleep scores with a lot of deep sleep without sleeping 8 hours. He was sleeping like 5 hour 50, I think it was 5 hour 52 minutes when he hit a score of 92. And it's crazy if you think about it, because every health guru will tell you that, okay, you have to sleep at least 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Sometimes it's just not possible, because you have a family, you have side hustles, multiple businesses, whatever, or a very demanding job. And then you want to spend some time with your wife as well, right? So you have so many responsibilities as a man, because that's your task, to build. This is your purpose in life, to work, to improve, to develop, to build up this whole big world around us, right? Sometimes you just can't sleep 9 hours or 10. You're not a professional athlete, right? But still, there's a meme called how to sleep 8 hours in 6 hours. It's completely possible. You just need to make sure that your REM sleep and your deep sleep is high. Okay, and you can measure this with an Oura Ring or a Hoop Band or Fitbit 2. Pretty simple. All right, other sleep metrics worth measuring with the same devices, I would say latency, sleep onset latency. Okay, so how long it takes you to fall asleep from going to bed. Very important, because if there are issues on that end, they need to be tackled as soon as possible, so you can ensure higher sleep quality and ultimately more deep sleep, right? Also, another metric I would track is restfulness in the morning. What else? The number of awakenings and the length of awakenings, that's also very important. We call this sleep fragmentation or fragmentation index. So these are definitely worth looking at. And of course, sleep efficiency. So how many percentage of the time that you spent in bed was actually spent sleeping. That's very important. And that's why I love the Oura Ring, because it always shows you that percentage. And I always push my clients to be at around 90% without any kind of external effort, or taking melatonin, or having to use a CPAP meanwhile you sleep. So this is one of our specialties, that we help clients who have to use a CPAP for sleep or have to take melatonin to get off of these and to use natural solutions to cure their insomnia or sleep apnea or any kind of sleep problems that they have, right? Okay, so we are done with the sleep metrics for now, but what else you can track, right? Blood oxygen levels are also very good to track, especially if you are eager to improve your endurance and your cardio. You want to lose some more fat, you want to push down those final little layers of body fat, but primarily blood oxygen levels are also a longevity metric, right? And the way you can increase it is doing VO2 max cardio. Like, pick your favorite cardio movement, do it as intense as you can for 1 or 2 minutes straight. Take your heart rate, that's going to be your 100%, and then take 70 to 80% of that, and do that for 20 to 30 minutes straight, 2 to 3 times per week. If you can do that, your VO2 max will drastically improve. It improved for my client Devin as well. I talk a lot about Devin, by the way, so let me show you a picture for those of you who haven't seen him yet. So with these very simple methods, what kind of transformation you can achieve, what kind of body fat you can achieve, and would you think that a 45-year-old can achieve such results? So today it's gonna soon turn out. Just let me pull up the picture. about Devin's impressive transformation. Here we go. So yeah, see this dude over here? He is 45 now. Actually, he's 46 years old. Okay, in hands. Okay, now you can see him. This dude is 46. Just saying. Less than 9% body fat. Goddamn high VO2 max. Why? Because he practiced it and we measured it. So very simple. Not rocket science, nothing crazy. It's just a little bit of effort to get where you want to be with your health, right? And he never followed any kind of restrictive diets. I never told him to not eat ice cream or to not eat cookie dough, whatever. Sometimes he ate it every evening and it was fine because we optimized his lifestyle and his nutrition habits in a way that he didn't go overboard with carbs. Even when he ate ice cream and cookie dough in the evening, and he wasn't even hungry. He said he ate so much food actually that sometimes even on this cut, going down to 9% body fat, he felt like he's eating too much sometimes. So it's not about how much you eat, it's how well you eat and how well you can recognize good food by yourself, right? Because if you need a coach's help forever, probably your coach sucks, right? So what you want to make sure is that if you accept external guidance, which you should, because no one starts a pro, right? No one starts as someone who is aware of everything. But if you choose to have external guidance from someone who keeps you accountable and gives you a personalized game plan, just make sure that they are not just holding your hand forever, but they are actually teaching you, okay, how do you use these systems for yourself and how you can sustain it in the long term. Because believe me, there is so much more value in that than someone who just wants to retain you, right? Like a therapist. You need to make sure that if you happen to invest in a coach, you align your incentives. And this is what we do in the Demi Cycle Protocol. We create a game plan for you for either 6 or 12 months for larger, bigger health goals. And once you achieve that, you will be able to maintain your progress for the rest of your life forever, right? So it's that simple. This is how we measure your health metrics as well, that you are measuring this by yourself with minimal time investment right from the start. The same goes for your blood oxygen levels, the same goes for your sleep metrics, the same goes for body weight, body fat, and everything in between. Okay, but what else did we not talk about yet? So, we talked about blood oxygen levels, sleep, everything, body composition, body weight. But there is something else which is called resting heart rate, and the Oura Ring is also amazing at sensing your resting heart rate and actually measuring it perfectly. I would say you should always aim for having a resting heart rate of below 60 BPMs or beats per minute. But this is also depending on your body weight, your height, your age, and so on and so on and so on. But always take your body weight, take your height, take your age, take your activity levels, and for that, let's see what would be the ideal resting heart rate range for you. Usually, the more active you are during the day and the higher your active heart rate is, the lower the resting heart rate will be and the easier you will sleep. The easier you sleep and the deeper you sleep, the faster your muscles and your brain recover, the less hunger hormone your body produces, and the more satiety hormone, testosterone and growth hormone you produce. So you're likely to eat less and you're likely to drop fat and grow your muscles much faster. So everything is interconnected. You can't treat health as a set of different domains or entities. Sorry for the data science nerd etymology here, but you shouldn't treat different areas of health as like very separate areas, right? They all belong together, they are all interconnected. So that's why I mentioned resting heart rate, because it's very important. The more chill that is, the more hormonal processes will be optimal in your body automatically, and also the more you assure your longevity, because at the end of the day, just like VO2 max, your resting heart rate is also a longevity metric. And finally, what I wanted to mention, and hopefully my math has not mistaken me, and this is really just number 8, as I promised at the beginning of the video. And yes, this will be the I almost forget what I wanted to say, but yeah, we just talked about resting heart rate, and after resting heart rate, I really want you to measure just one more thing, and don't do this frequently. Simply your body parts. So yeah, you want to measure your different body parts, but why? Okay, when you start your transformation journey, you get enthusiastic about what you see in the mirror. Week by week, you see the changes, and then you start seeing the changes on the scale as well. It's all good, but how do you put that into numbers when you look at different separate body parts, right? So what you want to do is every month, at the beginning of every month, get a measuring tape, flex your muscles, or like keep your chest tense, keep your waist tense, and in this kind of flexed but cold position. Cold means that you're not pumped, you're not after a gym session, you are just flat and depleted, just like I am right now. And you flex that certain muscle group, you put the measuring tape around the area where it is the largest in circumference, you measure the circumference, you write it down, and then you ignore it for another month. Because the size of body parts, they do not change as quickly as your body weight. Because the size of body parts is primarily influenced by the local fat loss, which is different all over your body because your fat distribution is probably not even, and you can't locally burn fat. You can only burn fat globally, and if you have burned enough fat, it will go down from your stubborn areas as well. This is just a general rule. You gotta accept it, and you will get there, and you will get this, and you will lose fat from your stubborn areas as well. So you have nothing to worry about. Just don't give up and keep going, right? Okay, but the measurements are affected by how much fat you lose, where you lost that fat from first, and how much muscle you have gained in the meantime. And as muscle gain is a much slower process than fat loss, that's another reason why body measurements do not change as frequently as your body weight, or at least not as significantly with the same speed, right? So you want to make sure that whenever you're taking measurements, you're taking them flexed, cold, and 1 month apart from each other, so you don't get neurotic or anxious about it. And finally, that we have run through all the 8 most relevant health metrics that we are tracking with our clients, you are fully aware of, okay, what is relevant to track to you if you are a man in your 40s or 50s and you still want to get in the best shape, highest energy levels, and best performance of your life, even when you have a busy schedule, high performing job, or a business to take care of, also next to your family. So if you are this type of person and you like this video and you have a clear direction of okay, where to go, but you feel like that you need some more accountability and a custom game plan on how to achieve that, feel free to go to the description below and book a free call with us, and let's see what kind of game plan we could come up for you and how this data tracking would look like in a way that it takes less than 2 minutes per day. How do we implement this into your lifestyle? How do we copy paste and then customize it, right? Or if you could copy paste it for yourself and it works well and you don't need accountability, then thanks for watching this video. Leave your comments below that what other health metrics did you find useful for your health transformation, or what else you would have mentioned in this video. I'm really open to your feedback, and I invite you for a cultured civilian discussion down in the comment section. And if you liked it, like and subscribe, share it with your team members, your colleagues, your family members, and help them lose fat the easy, sustainable, and calculable way. Because what gets measured gets managed, so let's manage our bodies. See you next time.